Welcome to the January 2026 Rune preview. During these readings, which I do on Substack, and I will link it in the comments, I pull 5 runes, and the preview only does the center rune, which in this case is Urus. The top is from outside influences. The bottom is from ancestors, your subconsciousness, your intuition, your familiar spirits. Left of the center rune is what should be left behind, and right is, well, the right way, the way forward, the things to focus on, how to manage the energies of the rune and the other runes that are surrounding it, which of course there's an interplay with them, a dynamic. And in this case, it is Urus, the primordial ox, or some would even say of Audumla. Now, the second rune of the Futhark, the one that gives shape to the shapeless, to what patterns, the archetypes of the chaotic cosmos in its ever-expansive motion. A rune of virility, strength, and vitality. So there may be a heavy focus on physical health this month, which tends to happen for a lot of people after the new year and after the festivities, and that has a lot to do with excess during the festive season. Too much drink, too much food, too much partying. Now, it may not be true for everybody, but it does tend to be true for a large portion of people. And hence the concept of the New Year resolution is born. The promise to ourselves to be better in some way. And for a lot of people, that does begin with our physical health. Now, there may be plenty of people who will scoff and who do scoff at the notion of such a resolution, but I do think that it helps people to start themselves off on a better path when it goes hand in hand with a festivity or a large scale happening. It's actually rare for a person to just pick a random day, any random Tuesday, to say to themselves, today is the day. It's rare. It happens, but much less. So I don't necessarily scoff at the idea of a New Year resolution. But I do acknowledge that it is easier said than done, and that talk is cheap. We do need some kind of motivation to actually stay on a path that leads to self-improvement. And that is why focusing on physical health is a good way for many people, because not only do we see the results in the mirror, but we also feel better in our everyday lives, because exercise and a healthy diet plays a large part in how we feel emotionally. If we always eat bad food like junk food or potato chips and Coca-Cola, you know what a bad diet is, then that's food that fills us, but it doesn't nourish us. You will become way more easily depressed that way. Food plays a big part in depression. Speaking from personal experience, by the way. So I'm not just saying it for the sake of saying it. I have also experienced this, but it's not about me. I'm just saying that it can indeed lead into a cycle that is very hard to pull out of. Now, it can also be that during this month we are way more stubborn than usual, and we want to bite our teeth into something and not let go until a certain result is achieved. Now, the feeling of taking the horns by the bull is very, very appropriate with this rune. And this can be a very useful feeling for people who want to channel this kind of energy into a project or a career, or take on something big, like renovating your house or painting your house. As such, the strength of Urus may very well be mental too. When we feel this surge of invigoration, of renewed mental and emotional strength. And often it can forebode a change in your life that is not a small one. And if that is the case for you, then taking the bull by the horns is indeed the advice of the rune. Do not fear the change. Face it head on. And it will also be a good month to pay close attention to personal relationships, whether they are romantic or platonic. Breathe some new fire into those existing relationships, not new relationships. Because it's because it means reinvigoration, right? We breathe new fire into existing things. And this is especially true for men this month, because you might feel a bit more frisky and easily aroused than usual. And in the case of married couples, this may very well lead to pregnancy, the shaping of something new. There's nothing really quite spells something new as the promise of a new life, of a pregnancy. Because in that pregnant belly, you're quite literally holding every archetype, all your hopes and fears, into something that you can't even see yet. Especially at the point of conception, it's so small you cannot see it, only under a microscope. What what a beautiful and magical act of creation. Alchemy made form. Now, of course, this can also mean the birth or the conception of a brainchild, an idea, which is similarly an act of creation. All in all, Urus upright is a very headstrong, a very positive rune. And the advice is, take the bull by the horns. If you're going to be stubborn and headstrong, do it for a cause worthwhile. There. That was the rune reading for this month. And I wish you all a happy new year. Thank you very much for your support over the last year and years before. It's very appreciated. And may you walk with the gods. Thank you for listening.